Blake Lively continues to make headlines.
You think I want to make you pay?
This was my first time as a villain.
I think about her all the time. The faceless blonde I thought I knew.
Because someone spoke to me improperly on the phone, and I was deeply upset by this conversation, and I was therefore incapable. I could not trust myself to go live, or I would have just been naming names, and I would have been ratchet and out of control.
I always say a broken clock is right twice a day, but I'm not here to call Candace Owens a broken clock. She is sort of like anti-establishment. She's really hard to lock down because she, might be pro a stance that you're against and vice versa.
Candace Owens exposes the New York Times and Blake Lively. At this point, Justin Baldoni should just hire Candace onto his legal team.
For years, Blake Lively has been seen as the epitome of charm, talent, and grace, Hollywood's golden girl with a seemingly flawless reputation. But recently, conservative commentator Candace Owens took to live television with claims that could shatter this carefully crafted image. Owens alleged that behind Lively's wholesome facade lies a history of secret legal settlements, hidden scandals, and a past that Hollywood has worked hard to keep buried.
At what point did it become clear to you that Blake Lively was the aggressor in this now epic showdown? Was it right after was it when Baldoni dropped the countersuit? Was it when Brian Friedman put up the website with the 170 pages and all the text? Or was it right away when the Times wrote?
Right away, I've always had an intuition about her, and I've always had an intuition about Taylor Swift and like the branding of the nice girl stuff. And something just didn't. I went through Justin Baldoni's Instagram, and he just seemed like a puppy. And I read it just didn't add up to me that this guy was secretly just dying to talk about pornography all the time and talk about his porn addiction and wanted her to look at pornography. I'm going, this is not the Instagram feed I'm looking through. And I went back years, and I was frustrated by how nice
phony,
he was.
And he's doing TED Talks about, we men need to be better. I mean, he's that man bun, male apologist that it would really fly in the face of everything he's put out there about himself. So, yeah, that would be odd. I wonder if they ever looked in his Instagram.
Pass the sniff test.
It's important to emphasize that these claims remain unverified and purely speculative. No concrete evidence has been presented, and Lively herself has not publicly addressed any of the allegations in detail. However, the internet is abuzz, and the controversy has taken on a life of its own. Whether these accusations hold any truth or are just another example of sensationalist media, the impact on Lively's career and public image is undeniable.
Listen to me, Blake Lively. Tap out. Tap out. Call Uncle right now. Please take my advice. Narrator, she did not listen. She did not take my advice at all. I said that having read through Blake Lively's complaints, that it was evident to me that she was likely under the influence when she filed her complaint. Not under the influence of drugs, not under the influence of alcohol, but of the influence of proximity to Taylor Swift. Maybe one Eras tour too many had been attended by her and Ryan, and they were just feeling like they were Taylor Swift. I just recognized her brand of feminism, and I called that name. I said that before we even knew that Taylor Swift was somehow involved in this entire debacle, okay?
Now, Blake has built her career on the image of the ultimate girl next door. Classy, elegant, scandal-free. But according to Candace, that's all a well-constructed facade, hiding something much, much darker. And Candace didn't just throw shade, she came armed with what she claims are receipts, documents, proof that could allegedly expose Blake Lively in ways that no one saw coming. And Blake, she snapped.
Now that there has been a little bit of a pause in the Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni case, there was just so many new documents coming out, we could, really couldn't sift through it all. A lot of people are asking questions about who is Tara Keat. Now, Tara Keat was mentioned by Megan Twohey in the New York Times article, but never made its way through the actual complaint.
Remember, in which Tara Keat was cited as saying essentially that the media environment around Blake Lively, given all the negative press coverage, appeared to be manipulated.
So Tara Keat was a company that was meant, I guess by Blake Lively's side, to give a professional opinion that the traffic around Blake Lively was actually manipulated. So here's what they had to say, and credit to Team Justin Baldoni here on the subreddit for pulling this up. They said there's no mention of the company Terakeet in Blake Lively's complaint or lawsuit. So where did Megan Twohey get that info about Terakeet for her article? Now, of course, that she got it from Blake Lively.
Stay with us, because by the end of this video, you might never look at Blake Lively the same way again. What began as an ordinary episode of Candace Owens' show quickly took a dramatic turn when she made an unexpected claim. With an air of certainty, Owens stated, "Funny how Hollywood loves to preach morality while protecting predators like Blake Lively." The statement alone was enough to send shockwaves across social media, leaving viewers stunned. The studio allegedly fell into silence before Owens continued, saying, "I have the receipts, and America deserves to know."
Yeah.
And I knew a bit about her. I knew how she grew up. I knew that she kind of was one of these people. What tends to be the case is that when you grow up with everything, you create things out of nothing because you're looking for struggle in your life and you're used to getting whatever it is that you want. So I just kind of had her down to a prototype and said, I'm going to pump the brakes and see what happens. And then when Brian Friedman came back with the facts, they were just undeniable. You know, it was undeniable and it contextualized everything. And it really was quite horrific because you just go, what kind of a monster even goes through with this CRD filing and doesn't include the proper context of these things? Like, he showed me a pornographic video on the phone. Oh, you meant a birth video of his wife? Like, nobody's looking at live birth porn. And so it was monstrous what she did, and she's got to pay for it.
On the Blake versus Justin front,
who I am is a work in progress.
Blake got the internet buzzing by making a false reference in her filing to Justin's 5 mistresses and 5 psychiatrists. Turns out that was apparently a sarcastic comment made by Justin's legal team as they complained about Blake's desperate search for evidence.
Baldoni's lawyers are saying that this is all a fishing expedition and Lively's looking for things that don't exist. They made that comment in jest and potentially is causing Baldoni damage. So it's something that he's going to use. They're doing everything they can because this is a very nasty fight.
Owens did not provide immediate proof, but suggested that Lively's past included a secret legal settlement during her Gossip Girl days, multiple NDAs signed to cover up incidents with cast and crew, and a carefully constructed good girl persona designed to hide problematic behavior.
It's essentially a request for documents that could indeed be extremely relevant to the case. And they're saying, we only want this to be shared between the attorneys, not even with the parties to the suit. So that means, Brian Friedman can see it, their lawyers can see it, but we're talking like not even Melissa Nathan or Justin Baldoni could see it because it might be very damaging to third parties. So to give you an example, if Brian Friedman subpoenas Taylor Swift's text messages, wink, wink, that's what I want to see, and it reveals that actually Taylor Swift was LOLing with Blake Lively about being a dragon. She was like, yeah, I'm a dragon. Rawr. And she was like plotting the takeover of the movie because she's bored and it's Tuesday and Joe Alwyn isn't responding to her text messages anymore and she's already finished her album. Well, Blake Lively's team is essentially requesting the right for their attorney to just designate that AEO, attorney eyes only, because that might unfairly harm the reputation of Taylor Swift. If the judge actually grants that kind of a protection order, the attorneys would become the judge of what exactly could be designated AEO.
Perhaps the most shocking implication in Owens' statements was the hint at potential criminal allegations, though she did not elaborate on what they entailed. She promised, however, that she would be releasing documents in the near future. As with many high-profile exposés, the absence of immediate evidence raises questions about whether this is a legitimate scandal or just an attempt to create controversy.
The proposed PO differs from this court's model PO primarily by adding the following: an attorney's eyes only category, which applies to confidential discovery material of such highly confidential and personal, sensitive, or proprietary nature that the revelation of such is likely to cause a competitive, business, commercial, financial, personal, or privacy injury. Specific examples of categories of discovery material that may qualify as confidential or AEO discovery information in a case of this nature, including, for example, previously non-disclosed information unique to the entertainment industry, such as, for example, creative ideas or client relationships or information of a personal or intimate nature in a case involving high-profile individuals and allegations of sexual harassment. Okay, so that's what they were alleging.
If sources are to be believed, Lively did not take these accusations lightly. Reports suggest that instead of issuing a carefully worded PR response, she allegedly reacted with fury behind closed doors. Some insiders claim that she lashed out at her team, expressing frustration over the fact that this information was not buried sooner. Others say that she immediately sought legal action against Owens and instructed her lawyers to shut down any further discussion.
Somebody is doing some serious damage control. When you get a chance, jump onto your Instagram and tell me if you're following Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. I do not follow them, and this morning, miraculously, I started following them.
That's not the case for me, but I think that was happening with a lot of people in Australia, apparently. So what is going on? Did they get Candace? Honestly, wouldn't be surprised if this was Ryan and Blake. Or, the French.
Adding fuel to the fire, Lively's social media team reportedly began deleting old posts, leading some to speculate that she was trying to erase traces of something from her past. However, without clear proof, this could just as easily be a routine PR move rather than an admission of guilt. Despite the lack of verification, the public's reaction was swift. Many pointed out that when a celebrity reacts with anger instead of a simple denial, it often raises suspicion. However, others argue that Lively has every right to be outraged if the allegations are false and defamatory.
That Perez Hilton, who has been covering this extensively, has a conflict of interest because apparently he was a client to Brian Friedman. But there's a little bit of dirt thrown on me here because I'm the only other person that gets mentioned. And I want to be clear. They said at least one of whom just so happens. So they're like kind of trying to signal like, oh, but Candace could be too. So let me clarify. I have never spoken to Brian Friedman in my life. And it hurts me deeply. As I said to you guys, like he and I are connected in the stars or something. Like, he might be my brother from another mother. I've never spoken to Justin Baldoni. He's literally my cousin. Okay, so we're talking about a family that's been torn apart. We've never even met each other. We're a long lost family. So don't you try to put this little, ooh, maybe even other people, because then they mention me. And I'm not sure what argument they're making, because I'm not sure what argument they're ever making, because their entire lawsuit is just filled with contradictions. But they use my tweet and they say, late last night, which was what I said, I tweeted this, late last night while we all slept, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds filed a protective order. The guilty as sin couple is asking a judge to protect from the public some confidential documents and names that will be gathered in the discovery process. And then after they put my tweet, they write, predictably, the media outlets picked up the same narrative. Okay, yeah, but that's what you did. Like, what am I guilty of here?
Owens has repeatedly teased that she has documents proving Lively's past involvement in legal settlements and NDAs. While nothing has been publicly released, internet sleuths have begun digging, and some speculative findings have surfaced. Among the rumored pieces of evidence are a 2010 settlement involving a Gossip Girl crew member allegedly tied to a workplace dispute, buried tabloid reports about Lively's rumored onset tantrums that sometimes turned aggressive, claims from former employees who allegedly signed NDAs preventing them from discussing her real off-camera behavior. One of the most damning allegations is that a former co-star was paid off following an unspecified incident, with Owens claiming to have bank records to prove it. Again, these claims are purely speculative at this stage, and no official evidence has surfaced. Until Owens presents her supposed documents, all of this remains in the realm of unverified rumors.
What happened to Candace Owens' IG page? All her posts, poof, gone. Candace, who has been covering the whole It Ends With Us drama between Blake, Justin, Ryan. And this comes a day after the whole Be Better's post was taken down. He basically had to legally threaten them to get the post back up. Her TikTok is still up. I'm pretty sure her YouTube is still up. And yeah, it's a little off. And she posts on IG, I feel like, more than on TikTok, honestly. So, however, guys, I know she's also covering, she's exposing France right now. Apparently doing a Becoming Bridget series that apparently is pissing off the French. I know nothing about that. What I do know is how she has been exposing Blake and Ryan Reynolds. And also, some people were saying their IG accounts would just instantly be following Blake and Ryan. Like, they would just check and they've never followed them, but then it said they were following them.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are facing intense trolling following the release of the trailer for Blake's upcoming movie, Another Simple Favor. What should have been an exciting promotional period for the actress has instead turned into a challenge, as online critics flood social media with negative comments. The backlash has made it difficult for the film's marketing team to generate positive buzz, putting the movie's success at potential risk.
There's some real darkness. You're gonna see what I mean.
Of course, as the It Ends With Us legal war continues, there are challenges of promoting the film.
It was just the best experience.
The studio turned off comments on the movie's trailer after trolls slammed the poster on Insta, saying things like, "Did Ryan rewrite a scene?"
How's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
The sequel opens in 9 days at the South by Southwest Film and TV Festival. The red carpet will not be live streamed, and it's unclear if Blake will do interviews at the festival or ever for the movie. Another PR crisis, new viral videos of celebs coming for Ryan. From the Jersey Shore cast,
Ryan Reynolds was not great to us. He didn't want to be by us.
To former co-star Matthew Lawrence.
I did do a movie with him.
Oh, really?
He was a total schlub then.
The funny part about it is that the production team was having a really hard time with Ryan. And this is young Ryan. He'd walk out, just wanted to kind of do his thing. He was like, I'm doing my thing.
Thank you, Brandon. I love the movie.
Appreciate it. Thanks, man.
God, this is cool. It's not every day the husband gets to interview his wife's love interest in a film. It's kind of crazy.
I don't remember seeing this on the schedule.
Let's dive in, shall we? So I saw you posing a photo with Mrs. Reynolds, and I'm sorry, what do you call her? Do you guys have a nickname or something? Okay, no, just so it's Mrs. Okay. Anyway, I saw this photo. It was very suggestive. So here, I got it right here. I'm gonna get right to it. How do you explain that? The genetics? You have some sort of low-angle squat routine to pop that region in that way? I mean, what's going on here, man? Are you smuggling pumpkins? Got a couple of small pumpkins there? Jesus Christ, my heart is beating like crazy right now. This reminds me of when I went on that meth journey.
One of the most noticeable aspects of this controversy is the silence from Hollywood's elite. Normally, when a beloved celebrity faces backlash, colleagues and friends come forward with public support. However, in this case, no one has spoken up for Lively. Not her husband Ryan Reynolds, not her Gossip Girl co-stars, and not any A-list friends. While some believe that this silence implies guilt, others argue that Hollywood figures may simply want to avoid getting involved in what could be an unsubstantiated smear campaign.
In the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni universe, and that can be true. The entertainment industry is not a monolith. The political world is not a monolith. It's not agree with all the left-leaning ideas or agree with all the right-leaning. You can be a free speech absolutist who wants universal health care. The Bernie Sanders to Trump pipeline is real, no matter what people want to say. That is a path a lot of people took that want an anti-established person, and that's why Candace Owens is popular. There's been a lot of people on the left that have agreed with Candace Owens here. There has been a fear and possibly a shame by a lot of people that she is going to switch their opinions. Like all of a sudden, just because you agree with Candace Owens.
Insiders claim that Lively has always been well protected by industry executives who carefully curated her public image to maintain her status as America's sweetheart. If there is any truth to the allegations, these powerful figures may now be desperately working behind the scenes to keep the situation under control. Alternatively, it's also possible that no one is defending Lively because there is nothing substantial to defend against. After all, celebrities are often the target of baseless rumors.
I've had it up to here. I'm getting to the point where I'm getting frustrated with the people in my DMs, trying to make anything work for Blake Lively here. You know what it's giving? It's giving Blake Lively. I'm convinced the very small amount of people, and I say this with honesty, the very small amount of people that are still Team Blake Lively are just like Blake, okay? And the reason why I say this is because they are seriously people that don't understand reality. They don't see reality.
As of now, Owens has promised to release more evidence in the coming days, but whether she actually follows through remains to be seen. If she does, and if the documents hold weight, this could mark the downfall of one of Hollywood's most beloved figures. If she doesn't, then this might end up being another case of sensationalized claims with no real backing.
Because people are just not going to watch a movie with Blake Lively in it. And the rumors were that she felt that Blake Lively didn't do anything to dispel that. She didn't come out and make a statement. She didn't come out, with her heart in her hand or say anything. She just kind of allowed this movie to be like an innocent bystander to everything that went on with It Ends With Us. It Ends With Us, pardon. So leading up to this red carpet, all eyes were kind of on Blake. People were wondering if she was going to bring Ryan. I said, definitely not. That's not going to happen. Obviously, she's adjusting and she's realizing what a bad decision SNL was. People don't like Ryan Reynolds, especially. So she did show up alone. And when Anna Kendrick was asked about Blake Lively on the red carpet, she was a bit pithy, and I would say maybe trying to be funny, but definitely made a statement when she was asked about working with Blake. Take a listen.
Anna, what does it mean to be working with Blake again?
Oh, talking about you all.
Meanwhile, reports suggest that Lively's legal team is considering suing Owens for defamation, but such a move could be risky. Filing a lawsuit would mean that Lively may have to present her own evidence to refute the claims, which could backfire if any damaging information comes to light.
We're kind of used to seeing, and pardon my language here, but we're very used to seeing like a bitchy Blake, right? She's very unkind to reporters, and genuinely I think that there's just a lack of a better word there. She seems to hate the press junkets over the years. She barely seems to enjoy her fans. She kind of thinks that she's above her fans, thinks she's above the press, and is just always rude, right? But throughout these last two public appearances, since everything has kind of been falling apart for her and Ryan, she does seem, and I will agree, admittedly very uncomfortable. And I said that immediately when she was on the red carpet with Ryan. He didn't, obviously, because he is, I think, just a narcissist to his core. But, they chose to walk the red carpet, and he was kind of pointing at her and wanting the cameras to capture him and her. And then he notoriously, now we know, wrote another line into that script to sort of mock the circumstances of everything that was going on. But when you zoomed in on her face in that moment and you saw Kevin Costner kind of looking down in that SNL moment, she doesn't look comfortable. She doesn't. She looks anxious. She looks like she doesn't really want to be out in public when she knows that the public does not like her.
What happens in the third one? No, I'm joking. Capri and Rome, honestly. So Paul, we really wanted to make this second movie, and I was like, Paul, he wanted to shoot in Capri, and I was like, that sounds amazing, but it's very expensive, and let's just, shoot in Connecticut. That's where the first one took place. I didn't understand why it needed to be Capri, and now I want to live there. I love it so much. They serve you ice cream and lemons, and it's just magical, and they sell hats. That crazy, beautiful hat was just a hat in a store. Humans buy that.
And I'll also add to that, she's definitely rambling and you can sense she's uncomfortable and a lot of hand movements, but I'll also add that even when you see her walking the red carpet, she's suddenly very nice to fans. It's a totally different Blake Lively, and she just seems so grateful for every fan that's coming up to her and asking for a picture and a hug.
Hollywood is watching closely, and the world is waiting for the next chapter in this unfolding drama, whether Blake Lively's career takes a serious hit or whether she walks away from this unscathed. One thing is clear, speculation alone is enough to shake even the biggest stars. At this point, the only question left is, will Candace Owens produce real proof, or is this just another case of baseless accusations fueled by internet hysteria? What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on the latest celebrity news and controversies.